I was asked the question, how is a bus accident claim any different from a car wreck claim here in Mississippi? And the answer really applies whether you're in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, California, New York, wherever. By way of analogy, I would compare a typical car wreck claim to a bus wreck claim the way that I would compare flying a little regional twin prop airplane from one airport to an airport a few hundred miles away to riding a spaceship to the International Space Station or the moon. Are they similar? Yeah. You know, they both involve flight. You know, they both involve, you know, some complex learning and skills, and, you know, you need sort of a specialized person involved in both. But the complexity and the stakes and the expense and just what it takes for a rocket ship to go to the International Space Station or to go to the moon is on magnitudes different than, you know, what it takes to jump on a little regional airplane and hop a few cities over. And so I use that, you know, not to make light, but, you know, a typical car wreck claim, don't get me wrong, there are car wrecks where there are tremendous catastrophic injuries. All of us know that there are deaths that result from car wrecks. And you know, those are catastrophic to the people involved, you know, both the victim, their families who are victims as well. But oftentimes, especially if it's, you know, two passenger vehicles involved in a wreck, or let's say all, you know, if it's more than two, multiple passenger vehicles, the complexity of piecing together what happened, the injuries, you know, the reconstruction of all that, the evidence, is just different between a typical car wreck case and where a large commercial vehicle is involved, particularly a passenger vehicle, you know, a commercial passenger vehicle like a bus, you know, but it holds true as well on, say, a tractor trailer case where you have a large commercial vehicle involved. There's just so many additional layers of regulation, so many additional layers, a lot of times of corporate oversight, corporate involvement, corporate supervision. Almost always when there's a bus involved, or a tractor trailer, for instance, you're dealing with not only a commercial driver with a commercial driver's license, but that driver is pretty much always an employee or working for someone else. And that someone else is typically a corporate entity with multiple layers of management. And so the areas that you have to delve into on a bus crash case are much more complex usually than a typical car wreck claim. Because you're going to need to look into the corporate defendants, look into their hiring, their training, their supervision practices. You've got to look into all the different areas that are regulated by state or federal law in terms of operation of that vehicle, to see if those things were complied with, and if not, did any of that non-compliance contribute to this crash. Looking at, just also the extent and severity of damages that happen. Also, by nature, in a bus crash, you're almost always going to have multiple defendants. You're almost always going to have multiple plaintiffs, where you have multiple parties who are injured, who are involved in the litigation. The insurance companies involved are more specialized. The policies are generally higher and greater, more money at stake, which kind of raises the game and the stakes for everyone. Just the way you investigate those cases are different from a car wreck. The reconstructionist, the experts that you need who are going to testify and comment and prove up the case in terms of liability. There's going to be more of them, more complexity to that. So all of that is really to say and get at the point that anytime there's a bus wreck case, any person who is the victim of a bus wreck, who's been injured in a bus wreck, or who has a family member or a loved one who has been injured, just understand the complexity of that case is so much more than a typical car wreck case. And it's just imperative that you have legal counsel who deals with personal injury litigation regularly, who doesn't just process claims. Where on a car wreck case, a lot of times you're just talking to the adjuster, you're working through. You may have to work up the case for litigation, and my firm, we regularly litigate car wreck cases to make sure that our clients, get what they deserve. But the way you work up a car wreck case, the adjusters that you're dealing with, the insurance companies that you're dealing with, is just different than when you're dealing with bus wreck litigation or 18-wheeler litigation, big, complex, commercial vehicle litigation. And you need to have some experience in that. They've got to know that you're willing to litigate. They've got to know that you're going to work up that case in the right way. So victims, their families, need to look for representation from attorneys, from a firm that has experience in that is used to litigating personal injury cases, who's going to work it up in the right way and put in the resources that are needed to get the job done and get them fair value for that claim. I'm Brad Morris with Brad Morris Law Firm, and if you have any questions about an injury of yourself or of a family member or a loved one that arises from a bus crash, reach out to us. You can reach us through our website. You can call us on the phone, and I'd be happy to do a free consult with you, try to answer your questions, point you in the right direction, just in general, just get you the help that you need on that claim. Again, I'm Brad Morris. Appreciate you watching. Hope this is helpful, and I hope you'll reach out to us if you have further questions or if we can help you in any way.